My name is Chris Claremont. You're watching Omni X-Men.
Yeah, that is Chris. He introduced our show, and Justin never plays this video. He doesn't. He made the video. He shot the video. He met the guy. Never met the guy. Maybe that's why I'm so continuing to play the video. But yes, this is Omni X-Men. This is the weekly discussion show, book by book, working our way through the Chris Claremont run of Uncanny X-Men. We're on the third omnibus. This is season 3, and my partner in crime, Justin, is here.
Dude, I forgot to tell you that every time you play that clip, we have to pay him $500. Whoever's channel it comes from. So unfortunately, you have a little bit to pay.
This explains so much now.
I'm over here cracking up because you are so right. I keep forgetting to play that damn video every time. I don't even think I uploaded the correct video. Like I have the
no, you still have the he mentions Gambit.
Yeah, the Gambit. So which good. At this point, it's almost fitting. I should just keep that going. But
I mean, why not?
Anyways, yeah.
So it's good to see you here, man. Happy Tuesday.
Likewise, man. Likewise. Yeah, happy Tuesday to you too. We're back with some mutant fandom here. We got our omnibus in front of us, and I put a bet out there in the chat to see who wants the over under on how many times John's internet freezes up. So we'll see. Over under 1.5.
I'm hoping that we pregame that and it's done, but we shall see. On the other hand, we have a guest tonight, always looking sharp, always top of the tier when it comes to staying streaming sharp. We got the Island Boy, Manuel. What's up?
Station. Thank you guys so much for having me. I feel both excited and terrified because I've been watching your guys' show for a long time, and I review books. I take less than a minute to review a book. You guys go page by page through a book. I was like, this is next level, and I'm excited because PCP we do a lot of reviews, right? Robbie just won an award. Gosh. He just won an award,
dude.
But
Robbie doesn't play around. Robbie just
kills it.
He gets into it, man.
There is so much like hyperbole and nuance. We say nuance all the time, and phenomenal. Like you guys are going through like, this panel made me feel like that. And then and if you think back 3 issues ago, it's like, oh my god, no. I don't think I'm crossing a line to say I come from a group of stoners. We don't have that long of memory span, you guys. So I'm excited but nervous.
I picture Manny's.
There are definitely times when that's a painful process, going panel by panel. But hopefully there's some joys in that as well.
I picture Manny's setup just had a bunch of sticky notes all around his computer, trying to remember like every idea or every thought.
And most of them I've like had a squirrel brain when I'm writing them. So I'm like, okay, so this guy is Mephisto or not Mephisto? And then I'm like, oh, I like Loki. I wonder when Loki season 2 is coming out. Did they spoil everything with Kang reveal at the end of Loki? Like that's the rest of them.
And
that's the rest of them.
Yeah, I love it.
If you guys don't know Manny, if you haven't followed him back in the Chamarro cinema days, if you haven't connected to his Nerdtastic news channel, there are so many things about this gentleman you need to be aware of. So click the links, subscribe, check in on his content. And of course, he's over there sometimes I catch him on Dylan's horror shows. I catch him in there with PCP Army on all different channels. So just if you're in the the Backlog Bro crew, you're going to see this gentleman all over the place.
Which we still don't know what a Backlog Bro is, but
we may never, I actually was sitting there and I was trying to develop a device to do that, and I was like, so I built this helmet, I stuck it on my head, and I was like, can you tell me what a Backlog Bro is? And all I get are chimichanga recipes. I think I tapped into Deadpool, but I'm working on it.
That's
working
win.
on it.
Chimichanga chimichangas
I love it.
awesome.
Yeah, but I'm lazy. My chimichangas, I get those frozen burritos and I stick them in the air fryer, and they don't get even golden brown.
It's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same.
Air fryer is a terrible way to make a chimichanga, and you would think I would learn after the first time, but the second time I'm like, well, maybe if I spray it with Pam. So then I put it in there with Pam. It breaks. You ever try to clean up frozen burrito guts from the inside of your air fryer?
Right now, JP's like, cancel the show
mess.
after this. We're never gonna get that.
Guys, I'm hitting buttons on my keys to try to get that cool helmet, and nothing's happening.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
What's happening?
You just gotta be. See, when it comes to graphic design, I'm the best at what I do.
No pro.
I
love it.
Dude,
Is
awesome.
Heck yeah, love it.
Well, let's say hello to some friends in the chat. Then we're gonna ask Manny some questions here to learn a little bit about the man himself.
Yes,
but
yes.
We got Tailgater Old Wolf in the chat, an hour
nice and early.
Really got to learn to use that watch thing.
He's just dedicated. That's all. He's just
I like to think. We got Chaos in the chat, raining chaos. We got Krista in the chat. Good morning, Krista. Or evening. Sorry, my bad. We got Team Nerdy. What's going on, Travis? Station, you, sir. We got Candace, our last guest. What's going on, Candace? How you doing? JP says, over under, there'll be at least 3 minutes late. Wasn't in your face. In your face. And we're on his channel later, but I can be late for that if you really want. You just buckle up.
That's true.
See, John has been replaced by a scroll. It's possible. What is up, Rob Boswell? Good to see you, sir.
Long time, Rob.
Brock Morgan, he was posting his copy of this book earlier on Instagram. Thank you, sir, for the shout out. Much appreciated.
He's a Mastodon fan. I just found out too. Some heavy metal bands that I like. So very cool.
My mind went right to Power Rangers. I was like, me too. Me too. Oh.
I mean, yeah, we could go with that.
I mean, I thought he meant this guy because Mastodon comics.
Speaking of Mastodon,
I'm a fan of that guy. I met Donnie. I know Donnie.
Yes.
We got the man himself, the Nerdtastic News in the chat right there.
Nice.
Jackson Roy Kirk. Good to see you, sir.
Roy Kirk.
Wait, you want to watch Ted Lasso whenever you look at me? That's a compliment. I'm going to take it. I'll take that to the bank all the way. Let's see here. Just noticed John's shirt. Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce Chade. I don't know how to do it.
Chiad.
Jody, what is up, Daryl? Read your comics.
Daryl. He'll be with us tonight too. Later.
Yes. We got Missing Link. What is going on, Link? Good to see you. Station to you, sir.
All right.
Pew pew to gun Pedro. Good to see you, my man.
Nice.
And I think we're nearing the end of the line here. I'm getting caught up. I think we did it. Okay. All right. Thanks everybody for coming. Thanks Manny for joining us tonight. We start off with a little quick couple of questions to get to know you and your appreciation of X-Men and mutants. So Justin's got a couple of a speed round for you.
Do you have like music like at the Oscars to play you off? Because I talk and I don't stop. Believe me, I watch these again and I'm like, what the heck was that? Why?
I believe it.
Well, I'll just mute you as well. I'll just put you on mute.
Yeah. Like, thank you, Manny. And for the next question.
What's up, chat?
Hey, what's up, chat? Whoa, look at that. He's back to the 9/8.
He's back to 9/8. Claremont signed it.
It's been like a season and a half. Wow.
I know.
My man. All right. First question out of the two. First question is going to be, who is your all-time favorite mutant?
That would be Nightcrawler. Absolutely love Nightcrawler.
Went right for it. Oh, so this one, I mean, obviously we get some good Nightcrawler action in this issue that we're about to talk about, so that works out. John, you want to ask the other one, or you want me to fire away?
Yeah, no, go ahead. You're nailing it. Go ahead.
All right. So what is your favorite X-Men series or story arc that comes to mind that you've ever read?
Ooh, God Loves Man Kills is really up there.
Oh man.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm
gonna go there. That's got to be it.
Love it.
And it's coming up here soon in this omnibus. We're gonna get around to that one here. This omnibus. What is it you like about that one?
Yeah,
I like the I like the thematic element. The same reason I like Kurt. I mean, I'm a man who comes from a fairly Christian background. I like the idea of religion, and I like the way that religion can be played off of with characters. I feel like it's a deeply personal thing. It's the same reason why I like Beast Machine's Transformers. I like that it explores the spiritual side of the Maximals. There's something about that really tethers me and pulls me in.
Nice.
And
it certainly
the way
humanizes
religion can be twisted.
Kurt in a fun way. I think it really humanizes his experience and his perspective.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, what is going on, Eric? How you doing? Good to see you, sir.
Station.
All right. Well, then that was awesome. Look, see, you did it, and you didn't even take much time.
And, oh man, my heart! I feel like there were words in my chest that I held back. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah,
I'm like, you can remove your hands from your mouth now. You can.
I urged you on for more. That's what was going on there.
Yeah.
My knuckles are locked from the white knuckling.
Nice job.
Well, let's dive into tonight's issue. We're talking about issue 160. Justin even has the copy. He's got it out. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
No signature. No Google label on that bad boy.
Nope. Just something I like to read. That's all.
But here we go, Justin. What did you think of this cover?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely damn, I had a hand joke and now I forgot it. Damn it. Missed opportunity. Gotta hand it to you. That's it. Damn it. That's it. It's definitely a loud cover. Not my favorite per se, but it does do the job of getting an idea of what happens in the story, which I'm always a fan of. It definitely provides some action and creates, the curiosity for someone who might be walking by and seeing it on the shelf for the first time. So for those reasons, I'm a fan of it. But in terms of the detail of the artwork, I do think it's a little loud. Obviously, a lot of things going on right now. And then we just get this giant hand that we don't really have any context to. But like I said, I definitely would be curious about this issue. And I do love seeing Nightcrawler bamfing and you see the smoke from the bottom and him showing up top. I thought that was really well done. So yeah.
Nicely said. What about you, Manny? What are your thoughts on this cover?
I feel like looking at the cover after reading the issue, it's like I see a chaos that's existent in the storyline and how it works. Like I get that. Seeing this on the newsstand, if I was just picking it up, it is very loud. It's very hard to read that hand right away. It does encourage you to look, or at least that's my apologetics way for the artist of saying, oh, he's putting all these little details for you to go through. I don't know if that was his intention, but that's what I'm reading into it. So I do like that. The colors, they're bold, they're dynamic, they do draw your eye. I'm not a huge fan of the gold bangle in the corner, especially with where Storm's shooting. It's encouraging me to look at an area of the page that's very uninteresting because it is pulling me away from the actual
leading line,
characters themselves. So that's a little distracting. But other than that, it's got all the characters. They're all rendered well. There's no weird anatomy issues. So you know what? I'm going to give it, let's go with, I don't know. Let's go with three digs for the cover, I think. All day long.
Nice.
Yeah, I well said, guys. Yeah, very busy cover. I agree with the shout outs for Nightcrawler, the Bamf at the bottom, and then the way the cloud is kind of behind the logo.
Yeah.
It's always fun, to see art when they play with the trade dress like that. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For me, yes, it's very busy, and there's so many parts going on to this that it's hard to enjoy any given portion. The hand is also strange with like two fingers close together, one kind of spread off to the side. The hand, it's hard to even recognize it as a hand without like really looking at it. So yeah, not my favorite cover, not my favorite. and obviously after just having Bill Sienkiewicz doing art on the last issue, it was kind of a shock. Like, whoa, hey, what's going on now? What happened?
Yeah, night and day.
All right. Well, then let's get inside where we've got that hand again. It's still sitting there, and we're dealing with our mutants back on their island, training and practicing, and somebody's watching them here, studying them, like watching on his demonic television. So we dive right back in. Justin, what are your thoughts, or what was your reaction when you got the spread page or the splash page here?
Very creepy. There's a creeper spying on the team. Definitely a bit of a creep vibe for sure. But yeah, I mean, I do like that we have the vibe of like a horror type story just developing. Even looking at the screen, I don't know if you want to call it a screen or whatever it is that he's looking through or into, but seeing the detail of the frame of this screen or TV, whatever it is. I appreciate the detail in that, and it's very eerie. And yeah, just kind of leaves you the questions like, who's this creep right now? What is this little star at the bottom that he has, and all this other stuff as he's watching the team train. So yeah, I like the opening.
What about you, Manny?
In a vacuum, it's got those that like creepiness vibe, but it also plays off the Dracula that we had last issue. So I mean, we're leaning heavily into these horrific elements. I don't know, maybe it was Halloween when this came. I have no idea, but
I wonder
they're leaning into it.
Yeah.
And it works. It absolutely works. I think that as far as layouts go, this is pretty. At least this first splash page is really well done. Everything's in focus, and your eye moves really nicely around the page. The next set of panels is a little chaotic, but it's a fight sequence, so
right.
It probably should be.
Yeah. I do love that perspective on that spread page or the splash page where it's kind of like at a fun tilt to it, like the angle of it is kind of fun. I totally agree.
Kind of Dutch angle throws you off balance a little bit and makes you a little leery about what's going on.
As we should be, because we got Belasco and he's on his way. But we got to say hello to some friends in the chat because we got Fable in the chat. What is going on, Fable, my man? We were just hanging with Fable this weekend. If you missed it, you got to get over to his Instagram. You got to check that out.
Hashtag blame Fable.
A lot of fun, and there was a lot of blame. Yeah, a lot of blame.
Yes, a lot of blame.
We've also got Perry doing a super chat, a super sticker.
Nice.
Perry, thanks, man. And let me play a little something for you. How about what does he like? He likes the cursing robot. Here you go, Perry.
Wow, a super chat. Thank you. You.
Much appreciated, man.
Language.
I wish Perry Gaming would stop by my channel. I get Perry Reacts, and that mother is so cheap. He never drops any money for me.
Chintzy.
Yeah,
Bobby, I hope I said hello to you earlier, but if
Bobby.
not, hello to you, Bobby.
He killed it last week on the humor of the questions and everything.
Yes,
so good.
Yeah, so you in the chat, you got to watch out. Bobby's the guy to beat.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, the team is training, they're being watched, and a voice seems to be calling to little Ilyana Rasputin, the younger sister of Colossus Peter, and calling her in some way. We're not quite sure what's going on. So she wanders off, and Kitty decides to follow, phasing through walls to chase after her, and then they both sort of vanish. They both get, vaporized, disappear. Meanwhile, the team is dealing after their exercise with a little stress. Storm still recovering from her attack by Dracula, and she decides, I need a shower. That's a great idea. I'm going to make a storm right here in the middle of the room. Clothes be vanishing. My favorite is what she asks, would the rest of you like to join? I can easily expand my micro storm. And Wolverine just sounds good to me, darling. He's ready to go.
As he lights a cigar.
Yeah, right. He's going to light up and
in the rain.
not a lot of enthusiasm overall on this. Manny, how would you react to in this moment? I got to know.
See, I here when I got into X-Men, right? The animated series X-Men, Storm's always fully clothed. I honestly had no idea until recently, as far as my comic reading, that she was so risque and all these older I put Storm up in this regal category where I don't need her to be overtly sexualized. It seems like that's a thing that happens, in my opinion, way too often in these stuff from the 80s. I don't need. I mean, even last issue, Dracula's you are so regal and so royal, I want to make you my queen. And it was just I don't think it's necessary for the character.
It's a theme that happens to her a bunch, as far as male characters trying to dominate her. We saw Doctor Doom try to pull the same stuff on her. We've seen it with Arcade, and so now here we've got, and of course her costume is quite scantily clad. She's in this era.
Yeah. So it took me a little by surprise. But the I don't know, it's a weird thing to have her do. I get the vulnerability, okay, she just had this issue. Now are you ever more vulnerable than when you are in the shower? Right. I mean, and so there's this like weird reflectory moment. It was like where her powers maybe aren't going to work quite right or something. And then the storm starts and it's like, but we're not pausing on the emotion. It's like we wanted to put the emotion there, but yet we also want to do this weird male gaze thing. So it's weird, right? It's totally weird tonally. I would have totally dug a few panels to recover from her damn near killing Kitty Pryde last issue and like almost becoming a vampire. I would have loved to see, if nothing else, like just this one page reflect on that a little bit more. The Wolverine jokes funny, but I would have. I'm being too heavy, you guys. I would have loved to have seen that focused on more than just, oh, she's in the shower and now we got another. We got another storm.
And it is the second or third time in this Claremont run where she's pulled this move. Like nudity doesn't really phase her, and she's like, "What? It's no big deal. Like and I'm gonna make a rainstorm and just shower right here." But what about you, Justin? What was your reaction to like the first of, I will say, several moments that we get in this issue?
Well, first, I love Perry's comment. Should have been a splash page, he says. So yeah, no, I hear you.
I was noticing Manny. Bobby blessing the rains.
Oh, that was great. Yeah. I would have liked to see a little bit more elaborate more a little bit on Storm's struggle with this. It was brief. It makes sense it's there, but it should. I think that I would have hoped we get a little bit more with that after how dramatic. Again, I mean, it's pretty serious, and it's not every day Dracula, comes along and almost takes you away. So let's keep in mind, though, out of this whole thing, I blame Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is the one that really, he made the recommendation. He said, "Why don't you shower?" He said, "Perhaps a shower will make you feel better." He could have said
it was an innocent suggestion. He didn't know what was going to go down.
I think, and we can talk about this a little bit later in the book when we see the doppelganger. But I feel like this is something they're playing with Kurt, and it does show up throughout X-Men with Kurt. This leaning into lust and licentiousness, like, and I feel like when we see the doppelganger kind of going into that, the way he treats Kitty and stuff like that, I think that there is an intention there. Maybe it's a statement on the priesthood and vows of celibacy and how difficult that might be. I don't know if that's what Claremont was going with, but I do feel like that's integral to Kurt. I mean, we just saw it in Legion of X with when he's picking and choosing, which Christian rules he wants to follow. Yep. He really likes to get laid. So I mean, there's like, so I do feel like there's that's an underpinning to the character, definitely.
Well said. Yeah. Justin, any other thoughts here? Or should we move on to?
Just the idea of the temple being there out of nowhere. I just was going to ask, do you think the team at some point explored this area? I get that they're in a new location.
On the island.
Magneto's
island.
Yeah, she runs off. Now. She sees this temple. I think she says it's a temple, right? It's like she goes down this hallway. It's like a piece or someone she walks into. I feel like I saw the word temple somewhere. And that's where Ileana goes, and then right behind is Kitty, and that's where she disappears as well. Yeah. But I just thought it was kind of like. Don't go in that.
This island is still getting like its story, right? We're still exploring what this means now that Magneto has left it, and Xavier and Cyclops were kind of caring for it, and now it's become our team's de facto base at this point.
And Professor X is out right now; he's knocked out still.
He is indeed. So now we've got the team wondering, hey, maybe we shouldn't be having a shower festival. Maybe we should be. Looking for the little girl that vanished, and the other little girl went after her. So they start wandering around. Wolverine's sniffing after them, and then boom, they all get vanished too. Boom, 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 4 in a row. I gotta say, the color work on these 4 panels. When you got to this section, Justin, were you just like, "Oh, that's cool," or because I thought that was really a fun layout.
I've this whole time just been such a fan of seeing how these artists do show off like light or darkness and shadows within the dark. Really, really creative. So yeah, this to me was just another great example of that. And we see this, I think, a couple times with even Kitty Pryde in the next couple panels, kind of representing her being in the dark, but with some shadows and lights. So yeah, I thought it was really cool.
What about you, Manny? Now that you're getting a mixture of sort of like abstract style here.
Oh yeah. No, I dig it. I like this. I like the there. There's something so explosive about using these yellows and these reds, right? They're definitely they're both just colors that are expanding out at you, and it really does. It really does help to sell it. I like seeing the creativity given the limitations of what they could do with print and how the presses were run and
Sure.
lithography and all that stuff. Like, so I'm super digging on that, because nowadays, like, you see like Moon Knight and they do these things with luminescence that's just like crazy bright, and it gives this different illusion. With this, it's working within the tools that they had. It's still so effective. It's like watching in 80s, one of them traumatic kids movies that we used to watch, all the practicals still
Yes.
work. You know what I'm
Man.
saying? And that's kind of what you get with this. Like, you know exactly what they're doing here. It's not overwrought. It's a simple choice, but it's a choice that's super effective. And they've, as far as KISS, they're killing it, man. They're killing it. I
Well
like
said.
it.
Well said. Kilted Corgi is in the chat saying they just read issue 154. So you're right with
Nice.
us. This is 160. Thanks for joining.
Nice. I like what
I think I finally made Perry an X-Men fan. He's digging the Storm's outfit. He's here for the thigh-high boots. So there you go.
I like Bobby's comment too, where he pointed. I didn't realize this, but they all have the catchphrases that they say.
Right.
Looking back now, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I kind of read.
By the White
kinda
Wolf.
read over that.
Is
Yeah,
my favorite
and
one.
Cripes.
Of them.
Yeah, that's great. Love it.
All right, so they vanished only to reappear in Limbo. We have reached Limbo, this devilish alternative to our own world where we have Belasco, this sort of devil sitting on his throne, kind of doing a Sharon Stone there for Kitty Pryde with the skirt upshot. And then we've also got this alternative version of Nightcrawler creeping in, pretending to be her Nightcrawler, but clearly not the Nightcrawler that Kitty knows. And it's all just sort of mind-blowing. We're in Oz now in a weird kind of way here. Justin, were you able to like wrap your head around this right away? Because it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely my second time through was a bit more helpful on some of this, but like, first, I mean, this other Nightcrawler, super creepy, making moves on Kitty, like, yeah, that was I was like, okay. The other thing was with the lighting. This is kind of what I was referencing before. Kitty Pryde in this, darker tone to represent that she's in this, whatever we call this part of the cave or whatever. I thought was done really well. And then the other thing too was what did I want to add here? Oh, that it a lot of these scenes remind me of X-Men King Size Annual 4, the one with Doctor Strange that we had broken down.
Okay.
With the story based off of
the seven levels of hell.
Yes. Right.
Dante's Inferno.
Dante's Inferno. Yeah. So I kind of got those vibes, the Dante Inferno, especially as we learn and see more creatures and more craziness going on.
Yeah.
I was definitely into it for that.
What's up, Comic Vet in the chat? What's going on, sir?
Hey.
Okay, so Manny, now we're getting into the crux of the story. What were your feelings on Limbo here?
Dude, I really like this. I like how off balance it feels. There are things that feel like MacGuffins and stuff, like teleporting pads just to get people in and out of stuff.
Right.
But it works. It's so chaotic and everything is unexpected, right? And there's this awesome contrast between the characters as they are now and how they appear in Limbo, kind of how the story unfolds and how it plays to specific fears and weaknesses of each of the X-Men. Like I really, really, really like this. Like I wish that things like this were more like front and center in some of these superhero mediums. Like it just this idea of being able to really explore. How am I? I'm rambling because
it's that psychological effect of having something not just be like graphic. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The psychological horror is way more impactful.
Oh yeah, well, because these heroes they do superhuman stuff. They're unbeatable. You can't. But when you, I mean, we live in an age where we're so hyper focused, like, and we notice our own mental issues because we can think about those things. It's in those moments when we are the most vulnerable. We are the most week, and it helps to humanize the characters more because they're dealing with these struggles and these psychological issues, which is so much more relatable than jumping over buildings in a single bound.
Well said. I totally agree. Whether or not Peter Parker can pay his rent that month is far more fascinating, right?
Absolutely. Whether or not Zeb Wells can actually give us a good Spider-Man book. Those are all thoughts that we worry about.
Big questions.
Every single time.
Big questions.
Every single time. My bank, I swear the people that handle all of my personal finance, my Edward Jones guy is constantly sending me letters like, can you please stop buying this? It's just you're just buying it. You're not liking it. I watch your reviews, and if you think your voice is so soothing that I want to listen to you complain about it again, and if you say another unkind word about JRJR, I'm gonna cut you. You know what I mean? So I mean, I have a personal stake. Yes,
so good. So good. Oh my gosh. Well, so the team is split up. We got Storm and Colossus, and as they go along, all of a sudden tentacles jump out. Storm's getting dragged down, and then she's like got adamantium claws, and she's turning metal like Colossus, and she's got a tail like Nightcrawler, and it's all what is happening. It's the chaos of this. I zoomed in a little bit. I loved this look on her face. I loved the Colossus in red, and I just wanted to see a close-up of her popping claws and turning metal. This was nuts, right, Manny? You turn the page, and it's like, what happened?
Crazy, right? These the tentacles and the grabbing. I was like, all right, what are we doing here? What kind of subtext? Damn it, Claremont. What woman spurned you here that we are just putting this poor lady in all these predicaments with? She's losing her clothes and stuff. But the I think that there's something to be said about Storm and being kind of the de facto leader, really, Scott out, and how much weight she has to bear. There's all these different powers we're seeing, that are coming upon her. It's like, where am I in the team? You know what I mean? I'm responsible for all these people, what's happening to them. And now she's literally like becoming them. She's taking that weight onto herself. Or at least that's what I wanted to say because of the weed, John. But other than that, this is definitely something that was the subtext that I read into it. And I really, really loved it. In my head, Claremont is a genius. Love it.
Joel the Geek in the chat. What's going on, Joel? And yeah,
this
no one expects tentacles. Did you expect tentacles, Justin, when you turned the page here?
No, came out of nowhere. Yeah, so these panels here, especially the ones where she's starting to gain all these other powers, really reminded me of the Infinity Warps series that came out 3+ years ago.
Where they kind of characters together.
Yeah. So I thought it was cool in that regard. Like, just kind of confused. Like, wait, so is she gonna have all these powers for this whole issue? Like, is this is like godly? Like, I mean, she's already godly, but right. This is like over the top. So, and no,
Brock, you were not the only one that thought that was cool as heck. It's one of the only panels I decided to make a little bigger just so we could get a little closer to that.
Yes, yeah. And again, here with just the light tricks that are going on, as you pointed out, John. Like, I really appreciate that
face, the horror on that face, the lighting on that face. I love it. Amazing.
With you.
All right. So she's dealing with that. Meanwhile, Belasco has now apparently encased Kitty Pryde in a crystal, and Nightcrawler, his doppelganger, is like doing a sort of dance, it looks like, there in front of poor Ileana. Meanwhile, they're realizing that the mutants are here upon them. They need to solve that. So we have the creation or the introduction of Sim, this sort of demon of the underworld who claims to have killed Wolverine. That's Wolverine's adamantium corpse there on the ground. He just snaps off one of the claws, picks his teeth with it, and is sort of just bragging about, like, Wolverine, whatever, you saw what happened last time. I ate him. He dead. Then Belasco does some magic, pulls the skeleton out of Kitty. She's, you're okay inside of that gem, but now I've got your skeleton and I can do whatever I want. And he's basically talking about this evil plan he's got, the powers he's got, this medallion, right, that he's got, and the bloodstones, and there's a lot of talking here, Justin. He's monologuing again.
Yeah,
you got the guy monologuing. What were your thoughts on Belasco's evil plan?
So I find it so interesting, the what he does here, ripping out the skeleton of Kitty,
Right.
it's so dark and random, like just things I wouldn't expect. Again, just like the tentacles and everything else so far that we've been hit with. And I like it. Like I like that. I like this horror vibe. And like Manny, you mentioned before, like coming off a Dracula issue, you know, just keeping that going. I'm gonna check the dates because it must have been October at this time. I mean, it really so dark, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, and then other than that, you got, you know, Ileana's, you know, she almost plays that like creepy innocent girl part in this whole thing, you know.
I mean, she's pretty pumped on the little medallion there. Again, the reason I have Carrie down there, Carrie Ann, or was it little girl from Poltergeist?
Yes,
it felt very poltergeisty. The little blonde girl who's like, the demons want her for some nefarious deed, and they're gonna like pull her into their televisions.
Yep, yeah, exactly.
The Old Wolf says August of 1982.
All right.
Getting ready for spooky season.
They already have Halloween stuff out at that time in the stores. So
and I don't remember in 1982. My dad was 14. I wish I could say I was a sperm or something, but I probably wasn't either. But 82, I don't know how it was, because like nowadays we have to have events in order to sell different Funko Pop variations. Maybe in the 80s there was something. Maybe
Priorities.
There might have been sweatbands or something that had these on that they had to get out for Halloween. I don't know.
Definitely.
Don't shame me now. Don't shame me. So Manny, what were your thoughts on this, on Belasco's evil plan here?
Oh, I loved it. I like, again, it's just, it throws you off, right? Because you just saw Wolverine, and now Wolverine is a skeleton. I love that little thing with Nightcrawler. I mean, he's so depraved at this point. He's actually like going after Ileana in what must be suggestive, because like Belasco straight up blasts him, right? So he's like, you presume too much. Like there's something about him, especially with the shower line earlier of dialogue, this sowing of the seed that left to the most base desires of Nightcrawler. This is something that could happen. And I like that. I like the ripping of the skeleton. I like the innocence that we're seeing in Ileana. We've got two young girls in the same predicament, going through completely different things. As the story goes on with Kitty, she has this very painful thing that happens that we'll get to, but she is physically being tortured. Ileana is being seduced by darkness. There's a difference here that's so cool to see played out on the page. Absolutely love it. I love that Nightcrawler sees his worst version of himself. I feel like that's an important part of confront, the him seeing that. He even thinks he's in hell. Like that is the worst thing that he could see. I mean, at least that's what he equates to hell. I mean, I'm assuming, because
totally. I would imagine for sure. Sim calls it Wolverine a midget, as is typical with this era. A lot of midget talk.
Yeah.
All right, so then we jump to Storm's naked again. God, what is going on here?
Constantly.
Storm shows up now. She's got a towel. She goes for a swim. Just go for. Oh, my costume is gone. I found a less revealing costume. It shows a more revealing costume. She's showing off more skin than the last costume. And while she's dealing with that, and while somebody in a creepy hood is watching her, Nightcrawler battles himself. Stop hitting yourself. And we don't see the end of the fight. We just see a lot of bamfing, and then it looks like the evil Nightcrawler may have won. And he describes that he killed Nightcrawler to Belasco. So here we go. Manny, we got more half-naked Storm for you.
Yeah. I don't know. There's somewhere there is a therapist with a very exciting notebook from the 80s with Chris Claremont. It is what it is. It does pay off later, the amulet and stuff like that. So we will see that, and it kind of ties to the previous issue. So there's some necessity there. They could have put more clothes on her. I don't know what wizard is running around. It was Day at the Beach Day for Gandalf when she found this costume. I don't know, but anyway, there's
no. They just need to even this out, right? Where's the Ian McKellen? I just woke from dying and I'm in my bikini.
Yeah, and you know what? Nightcrawler's in a loincloth. I guess fair is fair, right?
We do
I
get a booty
suppose, yeah.
shot there. Yeah.
You're right.
Nightcrawler booty shot.
Perry says more half-naked Storm might make him start reading X-Men. So there you go. That's a plus. We'll call that a plus. Justin, what are your thoughts on this battle with the two Nightcrawlers and the Storm taking a swim?
Yeah, so definitely love Brock pointed out there too in the chat. Very rare sighting of the double Bamf panel there, which was really cool. And yeah, kind of just left the scraps to us figuring it out and not seeing the full detail, but you know, definitely leaving it to our imaginations, because I really can't. I mean, it is pretty crazy to think of two Nightcrawlers, the same exact abilities going at it. Like who really would, you know, how would one win that? Right. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. I also want to take a moment to point out the layouts, and this is not even just this panel, but we've seen it a couple times already. But the one of Storm at the bottom left, where she is wearing the newer like Khazar style of wardrobe there, I like how she stands alone there in the, you know, without a box.
No frame, no background.
Yeah, they do this very subtly throughout the series, and then even with Nightcrawler or the Nightcrawlers, their feet kind of coming over the panels, coming to
or
the
her
next
hand when she's flying out of the water, and
totally, I appreciate that stuff, and it definitely stands out to me even more so when I'm reading digitally, because I do see some of the boxes of some of the, because it's trying to locate the, you know, specific panel or whatever, and sometimes it can't because it goes into the next panel, so it shows more. But yeah, so really cool stuff there. And then we get that mystery woman, which got a mystery. Not sure what's going on there.
Link or Steph was saying, was X-Men Black Suns a sequel to this? I've never read that. So, Manny, you're saying it might have been?
Yeah, I mean, it deals with Belasco like trying to make Limbo pour into the real world. So it does come back to that. I'm trying to think. It's been a while. There's a review on the Nerdtastic news channel, you know, of that book, of that miniseries. If you want to check it out. But I do, I don't know if they specifically reference events in this. I know that they're not surprised by Belasco. So I guess in a way, I guess it would be.
So my main complaint through the section here now that we're in Limbo is I feel like there's a ton of story packed into really tiny panels with lots of work, and I don't feel like I'm able to get a pacing. There's like the pacing feels off to me as far as just like I don't get to soak into any given moment. I'm just kind of like thrust into the next moment. So for me, that was my biggest frustration with this issue all the way along. There was constantly moments of, wait, that guy's dead. Wait, he's killed some. Is he claiming to get? So nothing had like emotional weight because you're just like getting on to the next piece of info. Did anybody else get that like I don't know, neck hurt from constantly looking back and forth?
There's no like real resting period. So I definitely see your point there in that, especially as the way the story is structured, I'm not surprised that it happened to be that way, because
it's like breakneck
we're going to see where Wolverine is. Yeah, you know, they're going to hit all the other characters and where they're at, and the way they do it is very much, you know, jumps right into the next.
So for me, it kills things like this twist of, Nightcrawler may have died, and I'm like, no, he didn't. He just switched places. Like because I'm going so fast, I don't even have the moment to think that it could be real.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Manny, did you have the same issue?
Yeah, I mean, this is the worst case of Whiplash since I've had since Whiplash Wednesday, when Nick Comiculture dropped two amazing videos, one from Cadets as well
and he just hit 1,000 subscribers today.
He did.
Culture, Nick, shout out to you.
Yes.
Gosh, now I gotta unsub him to keep him.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go unsub too right now. Yeah,
but there you go.
No, I absolutely. I wish that this was. It probably could be a 3-part series, because we really could see some of the weight of what Limbo is doing with some of these characters. But it as a single one and done, it is very, very. It's very plot heavy and it's moving at a breakneck speed.
I love this comment. 12-year-old me jacked up on Jolt Cola, didn't mind the pacing at all.
I love it. Yep.
I get it. So we move on. Now Wolverine, I know somebody earlier mentioned this amazing panel of Wolverine finding a Colossus that looks like he had an alien chest burst out of him, because he's like melted and like shriveled and like all bent out of shape. And Sim shows up and he just rips Wolverine's shirt off. Wolverine's like, check me out. And then tries to jump and attack him, and he just gets clobbered right off the bat, stomped on, and he's about to get crushed, and he vanishes. Apparently there's some weird portal thing happening. He gets vanished. Colossus shows up and he's like, What? You're not scaring me, dude. I'm gonna beat the crap out of you. Then I really don't know where in his loincloth Sim was keeping Wolverine's claw that he picked his teeth with, but we see him reach into the loincloth and pull out an adamantium claw. Careful with that, dude. You're gonna circumcise yourself. And he chucks it, and it gets stuck right into Colossus's chest. There's a lot of cool moments here. I had trouble keeping up with all of it. Manny, what do you think of what's going on here?
This again, the alien chest burster. I love that because earlier in the book, when they first get to Limbo, especially, it looks like an alien ship. It's got those same Geiger kind of influences. If you go back and look at him, you can see it. And then you get the chest burster scene. So it's definitely somebody was watching. Well, no, they probably didn't have a VHS, but they were definitely had some alien vibes there. No, I liked it. It's a little too cleanly wrapped up because like Wolverine vanishes, Colossus shows up, Wolverine shows. Has that happened yet? No. Well, anyway,
he'll be back in us. Yeah.
It's
I can
just
move
like,
forward.
There was no reason to have that happen.
No, it was very quick.
So, but other than that, I liked it. I like the idea that Wolverine can't land a blow on this guy, at least initially, because again, he's a character who is very physical. His entire appeal is in his claws and his strength, and none of that is helpful to him. Nope. It would have been nice if this arc had been 3 issues or something where we could have seen him coming to grips with the idea of maybe there's another way I have to do this. Maybe highlight his sense. I don't know, do something to make to make that pay off, because it's just like I can't hit him, but then I can all of a sudden, and then but yeah, otherwise it was. I mean, it's a well done action scene. I love how badass Peter seems in this. You're right about the anime. I didn't even think about
that panel where he's like pulling the loincloth out and pulling the blade. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, and then you brought up the circumcision, and I'm really into religious aspects of books, and I'm like, oh my goodness,
it's all right up your alley, and right up his alley.
Absolutely. But yeah,
Bobby says, the foreign object in his trunks, and the shirtless Logan to balance the naked Storm. You got to get all your fans together. It's definitely not sanitary. I do think Claremont's having fun here. I do think for sure. He was unsatisfied with the sandwich he got. I respect that. Justin, so do you want me to move forward a panel page, Justin, when you want to talk about this fight a little?
Yeah. I mean, you could jump ahead. I know we have a couple of action scenes here for sure. I mean, one thing to what Manny said before with the alien. I mean, this is certainly not the first time we got the alien references in these recent issues, right? I mean, we talked about Alien just in these past like 4 or 5 issues before of some of the influences that we've seen. So the chess thing and all that, really cool. This was definitely it was a lot. This overall, this whole action scene was a lot, especially with the lights, the beams going in and out, seeing some of those action sequences go on. I do like how they did this. A lot of this, I love that one of Wolverine coming right up underneath him there with the claws. I thought that was it looks so cool. And it's one of the rare times, at least in this era, where we get to see Wolverine really go ham on using his claws on a living thing, or at least Limbo living.
Well, and it says I love the bottom red panel next to Manny there where it goes snicked, and you're like, oh, Wolverine's back. He's been gone. And then he's like, hey, bub, I'm not finished yet. Like it was a good little, of course it doesn't amount to much.
Right.
And the omnibus has a letter from Louise Simonson, who was editing X-Men at the time at the beginning. And it does mention the reticence of Jim Shooter to have Wolverine kill anybody. Like he was not interested in Wolverine. So they had to really like balance out Wolverine being a boss, but at the same time not actually committing a murder on panel.
I always think of that one panel from last season where he's walking with Storm and Nightcrawler, and he takes out the guard, and they just just like all you get is their reaction.
Their reaction to like, what did he just
your
do?
Emotion, your imagination just takes over and assuming what he's done to that guard. So but so that's a rare moment for sure. Seeing him really use both claws right at that guy's chest.
I mean, Kilowog could be there's a cross inspiration there for Sim, and he does call Wolverine a hoser. I forgot in this portion of the fight here as well. And JP says this should have been 3 issues. One was Storm showering, one was Storm swimming, and then everything else could be the 3rd issue. So it's clever. Claremont's best attribute and worst attributes have been that he takes his time. Sometimes stories just need to wrap up. I get it. Okay.
Nope.
I thought this portion felt like a wrestling match to me. There's like wrestling moves, people picking people up and flipping them, kicking. Colossus does like a full kick to the back of Sim. I don't know how he got behind him, but he does.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of fun going on in this sequence for me, but it did feel like all of a sudden it was like WWE in the middle of this. Anybody else get wrestling vibes?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It reads so clean though. For guys like grappling, you know what I mean? It reads so well. The color choices are so smart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
the background colors too, the way things pop, right?
Solid reds and yellows. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Then we jump to the reveal of what's going on with this person in the cloak who's been banishing them, and they've been dancing all around. And the reveal that Nightcrawler isn't dead. It's the real Nightcrawler who's now punching Belasco on the jaw. And they've got old woman Storm, and she's survived somehow limbo, and she's trying to help her teammates, trying to guide them in some way, knowing what happened to Colossus, that Colossus she knew, the Nightcrawler she knew, and the Wolverine she knew. She's trying to do something good with the knowledge that she's gained. Meanwhile, they're all realizing that they've got like alternate versions of themselves in limbo here. Any thoughts here on what Storm's going through, Justin?
So this was definitely a surprise for me. I was, as reading it through the first time, didn't really even have an inkling of like who that could be. I just didn't click for me until it got to this point. So that was cool. I like that this was, as we discovered who she is, and just interesting. And I mean, it makes sense. I think back now, like, oh, all these other doppelgangers should be her, but I don't know, for whatever reason,
it looked like a guy in a lot of those drawings. Like it seemed like a male character in the hood, right?
Totally. And I just thought it was a character that it was the only character that like survived this limbo place. So all the X-Men that were there as doppelgangers looked like they were either taken over as evil or they were dead. Right. So it didn't even cross my mind that could potentially be another X-Men, character.
Brock says, oh, she gave her younger self a sexy outfit because she wanted to look back. God, look how hot I looked back then. Damn, I looked good back then. Just wanted a glimpse of it. Right? How it explains that whole sequence.
Yeah, there you go.
I look at The Rock like that. I look at his photos and I'm like, gosh, I look just enough like that guy that I can reminisce on days when I used to look like that.
So good.
The other part too, I kind of laughed at the skeleton waving. Like it is waving, right? The skeleton.
It does. It does it earlier when she sucks it out of when Belasco pulls the skeleton out. It does kind of do like a, hey, I'm over here now.
I wonder if is that Kitty doing that, or is that Belasco?
I don't think she has control. I think she's kind of just like frozen in this.
So it's Belasco just like having fun with it, just like, hey, just kind of shake the hand a little bit here.
I don't even know.
That's great.
Manny, any thoughts here? Should we move to the next page? What do you think?
No, I mean the reveal when we went back through it, when you were showing when she changed, she's wearing that amulet, and then the next panel on the next page, the first one. The first scene where we see the hooded figure has that exact same amulet. Sorry. Like it totally should have been a giveaway, but I didn't see it coming either because, like you guys said, it didn't look like a character.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Didn't click.
So now we jump to trying to solve the problem of Kitty and her skeleton being reunited. This version of Storm has clearly mastered some skills of the power of limbo and the abilities of limbo, and so she has these sort of mystical. She calls it a heritage of sorcery that she utilizes to kind of conjoin or rejoin Kitty and set her free. And then all of a sudden, Sim is back again, and Wolverine's gotta get back into the fight here. Storm has to give herself some messages, and then she decides, I'm going to fend off these demons for you. You guys need to get out of here. I'm going to create a portal to send you home again. All is going to be great. Belasco's been like, dude, you just forgot about me. I've been standing here for the last 10 minutes watching you reunite these characters. I'm not letting the little blonde girl go. And he grabs her and he's pulling her, and she's stuck there on that panel at the very bottom on the right, split between our world and his world, and pull this sort of tug of war over Illyana in the moment as they're trying to rescue her. Storm's busy stopping Sim and the other demons. And now we're trapped on the precipice of what's going to happen to Illyana here. My only frustration with this panel is the tug of war over Illyana needs to be bigger. and we've got all these other panels and all these other things, and this is the crux of the whole story, is what's going to happen to Illyana right here, and it just gets like smushed for me, and I was like really disappointed, especially on this reread, like feeling like why is that getting such short shrift? I don't know if, and Justin, what were your? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being grouchy about it.
So I was actually gonna say the same things, but not about that panel, but the one above it where the older Storm
sacrifices
ass.
herself basically.
Yeah, and goes all out. The description that they use there, and even just saying like that, some may have thought that it was just innocent hyperbole about hyperbole about her all these years and what they've kind of pictured her as, and then watching her wield awesome eldritch energies with consummate and ease and skill. They're not so sure. So I don't know. I almost wish that we just got way more detail of that, because I picture this wizardry of magic and everything that she does, and just really dominating and kicking butt. And then we just get this little panel,
get one little panel.
And
move on.
Yeah. I'm like, man, maybe a cool splash page or something, with more detail would have been a nicer payoff. But
that's a fair point.
Yeah. But I get you here on the next one too.
JP says, I didn't focus enough on Storm's side butt in the last page. Clearly I'm still a scroll. I mean, that's fair. You didn't see me when I read this book. You don't see the drool that's holding my comic book together over here. You don't see any of that. Manny, what were your thoughts on these? The crux, the finale of this big sequence.
I'm kind of the opposite. Like the Illyana thing is the Jonathan Kent moment, right? They just want to age up the character. It's you give us a reason. So that's just a plot point for later, a breadcrumb, if you will. The Storm stuff is very, very important, because the last issue she almost kills Kitty when she's under the dark evil forces inside of her. Right. In this, she wields magic to save Kitty. There's a completion of a mini arc here, and I think it's really important. So that aspect of it I really, really like.
Nice.
So that going from wanting to kill Kitty to literally bringing her back to life is super important, super well played. I like that when she wins the day using magic, because one of the things that she did against Dracula in the previous, I keep going back to 159. I was obviously a week too early, but one of the things against Dracula, one thing she does, she uses her elemental abilities.
Right.
And she still can't beat him. And he goes, "Oh, even these powers won't save you." She's learned to wield other powers. So there's these little tiny payoffs that really work. So I really dig this. I do wish that there was more covered in it, but I wish that it was like I said, a 3-issue arc, because there's so much to unpack. That totally could have been really well. And 3 issues would have gotten you closer to Halloween. You could have sold more merch, Marvel. What were you thinking? This is why y'all went bankrupt. All right.
Synergy, yo.
Goodness
synergy.
Gracious.
Deep.
Goodness gracious.
Krista says, so there's no real payoff to Kitty's skeleton? I mean, except maybe seeing Storm has powers that we don't get to see beyond 2 pages, but yes.
Yeah. We know she goes through some pain, that's for sure. It is a cool panel there on the side.
And I missed Inja. What is up, Inja Binja? Good to see you in the chat.
Inja.
Let's see here. Did I miss? Old Wolf says, "Does drool dry crusty?" Let's just not get into this. Jackson Roy Kirk. We've had the chat. Most we've had in the chat in a long time. Velasco brings everybody out. There you go. And I will say this sequence of the crystal reminded me a ton of Superman too. That's why I got my man Christopher Reeve over there, and the whole frozen in the thing, losing your powers, having it flashback to old school Superman.
Soups.
And then the finale. This is the end. It all ends with them pulling Illyana through to their side of the portal, and she's aged up. She's now like a teenager, and time for her passed differently because she was stuck on that side of the portal. And we get to see her and Colossus sort of try to understand how their sibling relationship might change now that he missed out on this portion of her life. She's basically doubled in age from 7 to 13 or 14. Now we've also got Belasco watching through the power of the amulet that she took with her when she left. And obviously she left Fozzie Bear. She left her Teddy. And she's got the medallion, which, of course, later on, as we continue with the journey that Illyana is going to go on as she becomes magic, will play a significant factor. Any thoughts here on how this wraps up, Manny?
No, I like it. So leave some breadcrumbs ready for further down the line. Gives us a new character so that we can make spin-off books and make more money, so we don't go bankrupt and license a bunch of characters to Sony and Fox and end up freaking having to have that fight in the in the early 2000, whatever we're in. I don't even know. But regardless, the rambling's over. You guys get the point. I have nothing to say.
Well,
I felt like I needed to talk, so it just kept coming out.
It's all good. Link says, the end when Illyana came back as a teenager blew my mind as a kid. I was like, what? How? This is the first issue of X-Men I read.
Oh, nice.
That is pretty dope.
Nice. That's always hold a special place.
Yeah, that's a good start. Cool. That's a good start.
Cool. Yeah, this
Justin,
is a wild issue.
Any thoughts here, Justin, on how it all ends here?
Yeah, so I do appreciate the relationship that we see between Illyana and Peter. Really more Peter, like his struggles with it and just trying to grasp everything that's going on. Because obviously, if that happened to any one of us, it is, I imagine, be very hard to kind of settle with. So, but I appreciate that we still get him trying to be that, older brother, bigger brother, taking care of his younger sister, tucking her in, like falling asleep there on the chair next to her, like almost like still trying to keep her young in what he pictures, and try to still do what he's done for her, even though now she's older. I'm with you, Manny, on what you mentioned with the previous set of panels when we do learn of how this is exactly how she grows up. Essentially, is a little bit of like, I'm surprised they did it that way, I guess. And even like, I know seeing this as like a key and being listed as like, oh, first appearance of like Illyana as an adult or whatever. I remember looking at that being like, oh, I wonder how that happens, because that's only 160 and like,
right,
we're all these other things. So yeah,
and I think the Magic miniseries that builds off of this really takes her from this cute 7-year-old little blonde girl to this demonically powered superhero with a sword and inspired clearly by Storm's outfit.
Right. Did you read that yet, John? I know we have that in our system.
Oh, yeah. That I read quite a while back.
Oh, nice.
But it's been a while, so I'm excited to like revisit it.
Cool.
I do also think that it should be pointed out that this was a perfect opportunity, because Kitty is the one pulling her in. You could have aged Kitty up a little too. I'm just saying, you had the shot right here.
That's a good point.
You could have closed the gap a little.
Yeah, if there's anyone that needs aging,
I'm saying they aged up the wrong lady. I'm just saying, and really this was the chance to fix that whole Peter's in his 20s and she's 15. Like we could have just made it like, oh, she aged, this one doubled in age, this one got a quarter of her age, she was closer to the point. Like, something could have happened.
I mean, technically her hands may have, right? I mean,
right? She's got liver spots all over her hands now.
She does wear like pirate gloves now. So
we have
she
no idea. She covers her hands ever since this moment. No,
we have no idea.
So good.
Someone has to explore that lore at some point.
Well, before we get into like grading this issue, let's talk a little bit about the key facts here. Just some stuff that I threw together. This is the first appearance of the world of Limbo and some of those demons, whether it's Sim or the alternate versions of our heroes.
Cool.
This is obviously when Illyana gets aged up as a character to make her at least old enough to then later, like we see, join the New Mutants, which happens in issue 14 of that run. 2 years after this book, that's when that'll happen. The connection between Illyana, Kitty, Limbo will continue again in the Magic miniseries and in issue 171 of this current Uncanny X-Men run. So some of those things will continue these stories. If you like these plots and you like these devices, that stuff will be carried over as well. Let me get rid of my logo there so that you can kind of see. Where's my branding there? Sorry that I'm covering some of the math there. But yeah, there is a 10.0. $5,000 was the last sale in 2019. I'm sure that's gone up. There's a 9.9. Chet, get on it. That was 1,500 last sale in 2017.
Chet is dialing up eBay right now, looking it up, seeing if it's for sale.
There are nearly 1,000 copies of this book between a 9.4 and a 9.8. Just 1,000 graded copies in that high range, which is probably why you can get a 9.6 for a fair market value of about $90 and a 9.8 for almost under $200.
Yeah.
So a lot of options for a reasonable high grade copy of this book if magic's your girl or whatever.
Yep.
Anybody have any thoughts on the math we got here or the facts?
Also for key elements, first appearance of Old Woman Storm, if that's a thing.
I mean, right?
Could do
or
that
creepy Nightcrawler.
Because I know like Old Man Logan, all that play. We could go that route too.
Okay, you have 75 copies of New Mutants 14. Okay. Good.
Callie.
Invested deep investments there.
Damn.
I feel like I missed some people though, but good to see you, Callie. I feel like I should have said hi to you. There it is. Sorry. There's when you came in. Hi, Callie. What's going on, man? 10,000. Yeah, the 10K. Yeah,
it's up there. Yeah,
it's up there. It's up.
Oh,
there.
we're talking about 10.0. Yeah,
10.0. I mean, I would assume that the price has gone up a lot in the last 3 years, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pass on a 10.0 as well. So yeah, let's go around the horn and give last thoughts and a grade on this issue. So Justin, I'm going to start with you. What would you grade this book?
Oh man. So yeah, this was, to me, is a lot of fun. And I also like that we continued on with the horror type vibes. Especially, just all of it. So, I mean, coming off that last issue and everything else, I'm going to put it up there again, cause I really enjoyed it. I think it falls around the 9 range for me, at least. I know. I gave last issue a 9.6 because that was very high up there, and I do feel this one is. I mean, it's pretty up there too. You did make some points, John, with like the pacing a little bit lacking there in certain aspects. So, but just in terms of pure enjoyment, which is how I ultimately grade, I'm going to put it up there as a 9 because I really enjoyed this issue. We did get to see some special moments still with Peter and his sister, and more about Kitty and all that other stuff. So, I'm going to put it at a 9.
And Manny, what about you?
In TCP language, I'd probably give it a solid 3 digs, because it's a well crafted book. It's got the battle sequences. Everything's easy to read. The book itself is easy to read, but the plot is a little harder to follow. I wish it was longer. It's got some great ideas in there. It just needs more time to flesh out. One of the great things about comic books, though, is somebody could write those stories. Somebody could go back and revisit what impact Nightcrawler's doppelganger had on him, or the time Wolverine felt helpless, resulting in Ileana being trapped in limbo for 7 years,
right?
Because he couldn't land a blow on Sim. Maybe if he could have just gotten there a little bit sooner, maybe she wouldn't have been corrupted by blood. So it's like there's story to be told there. And the beautiful thing about comics is we can go back and revisit those. And so just like now,
and I know that Brock posted his I believe he posted his copy of the classic X-Men version of this issue, which has a great Mike Mignola cover on it.
Daryl.
Oh, Daryl did. Sorry.
Yeah.
And those issues always gave you 3 or 4 new pages of information about that issue. That was kind of the fun of classic X-Men when I was reading those as a kid. So maybe there was more in there to flesh out some of those things too.
That's a good point.
Yep.
One thing to add too, I forgot. I wanted to point out the penciler, Brent Anderson, which I don't know if he was on any of the other ones before this.
He has not been, and I think this is his one and done. I want to say it was a one and done.
So I thought that was interesting because going through it for the first time, I didn't even think to look at the artist, and just I know we had Bill come in, from last one or whatever, but then this one, I thought it was just Dave Cockrum coming back or whatever. I liked it. I liked the artwork. Overall, I thought it was great. So, but I just wanted to point out that Brent Anderson was the one that did the art.
So yeah, Krista, it was 2 years later. The New Mutants run started about 6 or 8 months after this issue, and they run 14 issues. So they do a full year basically before she would then join. So yeah, it is quite a while for her to get to that place. There's a lot of great jokes about the Storm scantily clad, making this grade very high, and I get that. So for me, this is probably an 8.5, 8 somewhere. I do feel like art is really great. I think you guys have touched on that a bunch. the value of this book for me is I really like the character of Magic, and I like the New Mutants run, and this sets up a ton of that, and you get to see them finally give this character a story to tell, right? I mean, she's just been the cute little blonde girl and she's had no real personality, but this plants the seed to give her that personality. The version that we have showing up in the current Hickman run is all predicated on this story, and I think that's really kind of cool. Sorry, my man.
I got you, Darren.
That's why he's here. He
Keep John in line. Yeah.
Hopefully none of you all bail out of here, because we are entering the trivia portion of the show. We end every show asking questions about last week's show, which is why all the links are down there for Justin's channel, because you're going to want to be over there next week when we're talking 161, but making jokes and talking about 160, this issue right here. So we're going to ask questions about issue 159, which Manny's mentioned a few times was a Dracula focused issue. And we've got 4 questions. We're looking for the first 2 of you to get a correct answer in the chat. We're going to give you chances to join into our giveaway prize wheel that we're gonna load your names on. Yep. But then Manny's looking to laugh. He really wants something funny happening in this chat. So he's going to pick the funniest answer each round, and you're also going to get an entry on the wheel. So we're looking for funny answers, but we're looking for correct answers as well. Yep. Justin, you want to kick us off with your first question?
Sure. So again, this is all based on issue 159, last issue. My first question is going to be, why didn't the cross affect Dracula when Kitty and Wolverine held up their cross? They were trying to, essentially curse him or get him away from them. Why did that not work for them specifically?
I mean, maybe we'll see. Yes, we'll see. Yeah. So looking for 2 correct answers. Why didn't the cross that Kitty and Wolverine held up? Why didn't it work?
Yeah.
I see 3 answers. I don't know which ones you'd consider correct.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Brock didn't quite nail it.
No. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Especially, I mean, because I especially mentioned Wolverine as well, the two of them. I mean, yeah, I mean, even it's still about close. To me it was still just about having a specific faith, or having to believe. So I'm gonna say Chet. I'm gonna say Tony on that. Sorry, Brock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's Tony? Where you at here? Tony,
I'm being a stickler here.
He's trying to keep up pace with Chet. Chet and Tony, 1 off of the lead in each case.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I call shenanigans on that anyway, because Wolverine holds up a cross with his claws, right?
Yeah.
And if anything, Wolverine believes in, it's his claws. So the emblem itself should have still had powers. So,
but does that imply he believes that he is like a deity? That his claws have a godlike power?
Because Kitty's Star of David works. I mean, if his emblem,
which is a religious,
his emblem is his claws, and he believes in his claws. It depends. I guess I don't know what his viewpoint is. He might be very just only believes in himself.
He's spiritual about the blood that he lets.
Yeah, I don't know.
TM says it's because he's Canadian. That's why it didn't work. He's Canadian.
Yeah.
Wolverine tried to make it with 2 sandwiches, didn't work. That's gonna. It had bacon. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Wolverine could have held up a maple leaf. Let's see. Well, there was a joke about Nightcrawler didn't bless Wolverine's claws. He should have that if he'd done that.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even think of that.
The power of adamantium compels you. All right, Manny, we need one funny answer. What do you like?
It's got to be the power of adamantium compels you, but there was a lot of good ones.
Joel
so many good ones. Now TM was close. He was barely there, only because as a Minnesotan, we are terrified of cat. Y'all don't realize we're the Northern Watch. We are keeping them bastards at bay. All right, Wolverine is the nightmare story we tell our children.
Don't let that maple syrup down here, man.
No. We oftentimes I have my children praying to the Silver Samurai, just take him, Lord, just get him out of here. But it just so happened.
My first question is: Dracula at one point has to face off against Colossus and Wolverine. They do the fastball special. They throw Wolverine at Dracula. What does Dracula do? When faced with the fastball special, folks, what does the evil lord of vampires do when facing down that fastball special?
I almost blurted it out.
I know, that's why I kept talking. I kept talking because I saw you getting close to speaking, and I was like, I'm just going to keep talking. He won't interrupt me because Manny's polite.
Good.
If I just keep speaking.
A good opportunity for jokes here. Good opportunity for jokes. Just saying. Also, quick shout out to Nigel. Desired Comics popped in the chat there.
I didn't see you, Nigel. Sorry, my man. Where's he at? I'm scrolling up.
I think it was.
There
he came in right when
up?
the answers were coming in there.
What's up?
Good to see you, Nigel.
All right, scrolling down. Let's see here. It turned it into a baseball bat and he hit a homer.
I like it.
There it is. Impressive skill. Joel got that shirt printed. Did he? I mean, that's not a joke. I'm just saying he just says he got it printed. He pulled out a jar of mustard. Boy, the sandwich jokes. That's lasting.
Any of these could be t-shirts. Just saying.
He stuffs Colossus and throws him. Right. Impressive. All right. So I think we got Bobby and then we got JP. He does.
Yes.
He turns to mist or smoke.
Yep. Yeah.
So let me get you Bobby and let me get you JP.
Man, look at it. Bobby's not getting the humor. If he's not getting the joke points, he's getting the correct points. If not, getting correct, he's getting the jokes. Always on it. Always on it.
All right. So I got mustard, I got stuffing Colossus, and I got the baseball bat. Is there anybody else with some comedy?
Get him in there, folks.
Dipped, dodged, and ducked. Oh,
the 5 Ds.
That's a dodgeball
5 Ds
joke.
Dodgeball.
I get you there. Get out the maple syrup. Every Canadian's weakness.
I'm writing that down. I'm adding that. Like how people hang garlic for vampires, we're gonna now be hanging maple syrup.
Put it in my hair when I'm feeling down. What do you think makes it look so nice?
Well, they're hard to fight. They have universal health care, so they're all healthy and stuff. You know what I mean?
They stay stronger.
We're all
right.
We're super polite in the Midwest, so it's always like, "Oh, sorry, yeah, no," and then they're down here just wrecking fools. So we need that maple syrup.
I'm giving them the smoke answer. I'm not going to fight smoke versus mist, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Chet. We need one comedy answer, Manny. What was there one that you liked the most?
Shoot, I'm going with the turned into a baseball bat.
There you go.
He does. I mean, I don't know if when he turns into a bat when he's fighting Storm, if he's into baseball, I don't know. So it's not only comical, but it also leads into a discussion about whether or not bat form Dracula is into baseball. Which team does he like? I don't know.
Oh my gosh! All right, Justin. Third question, my man. What's up?
All right. Next one up here. How long did it take for the girls to find clothes for Storm to wear? According to Wolverine's,
he had a specific measuring system for that.
Yes. How long did it take the girls to find clothes for Storm? They were upstairs with
all those frails.
Yeah, all those frails.
So many frails up there getting ready.
Yeah, looking for clothes for Storm to wear. I can't remember the Misty Knight's her roommate's name now.
Harmony Young.
Harmony Young, there it is.
Boom! Manny's like, where's that post-it? Is that post-it?
Yeah. He's got all the yeah. Harmony Young. There you go.
All right, I see one correct answer, I believe.
Let's see. And just a reminder, if you see the correct answer, feel free to copy and paste. Don't forget.
I see it twice now.
Yep. Old Wolf.
One. And I got 2.
And JP, yeah, that's correct.
Candace says it took 999 beers on the wall.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that.
30 minutes and a 12-pack later.
Yeah.
So long he had to have another cigar.
He does like his cigars.
Not long enough. It did not take long enough. All right, Manny, which one do you like?
Oh,
who are we throwing a point to?
I like the 99 beers on the wall. I also like the so long he had to light another cigar.
Long enough for Nightcrawler to tell her to shower, apparently. Says Brock.
Oh, is that after the wire? Because that one was pretty good.
We'll count him.
It's toss it between Link and Brock. Let's go, Brock.
All right,
the Link.
We got you, Brock.
Gosh. Brock on the board.
Steph's gonna be mad.
I would have gotten it wrong because I thought it was well worth the wait, kiddo. That's what I was thinking you were going. But then
he does say that.
He does go in and say he wants to have a
say that,
and then he does finish 6 of them.
All right, last question is What evidence does Kitty Pryde find that proves that Storm was taken by Dracula? What
This is so
what piece of evidence does Kitty Pryde find to prove that Storm was taken by Dracula? It's common. This is what Dracula does when he takes people. He does this.
He
all
shows
the time.
minors the D. I mean, it's
I
just-
like that you called it
terrible.
a piece of,
Terrible. Goodness gracious.
What does a kitty find? What is she? What evidence? What's the proof to prove her theory that we are 5 minutes late for JP's show? And
Oh, sorry.
No,
Is it-
we're
no,
good.
it's not.
We're good. I'll say while we
Jay-
wait. Oh, go ahead.
left a note. No, I don't think he left a note. Very, very clever.
Mm.
No, a scarf with a D on it, not the D on it, but a D
No.
on it.
Mhm.
And we got Chet Scotland. So look right now,
All right.
13 for Chet, 13 for Old Wolf. We're finishing the night with you guys tied.
Wow.
This is pretty amazing.
Wow. We can still get a comedy one in there. See
He
if
found a
someone
coffin. Maybe there's a coffin.
See if someone steals it here.
A maple leaf flag.
Did we confirm Chet's spelling? Okay, yeah, I think. Thank you.
Storm didn't finish her sandwich. He left a note on the wall like Hook.
Yes,
They
nice.
found a Hulk 181. That's how you knew it. A post-it signed Love Drac.
Yeah.
A picture of himself.
Love drag.
He practically did. I'm not
mean,
gonna lie.
I don't know how
oh
you
my-
leave your ascot with your
That's such
monogram right
Such
on
a
it.
damn boomer thing too. Who has a
Right?
monogram scarf?
I'm just
Goodness
saying.
gracious.
A case of Great White North beer.
That sounds
And
good.
Drac left a note with today's magic number. There you go. All right, bat dropping. There were bat droppings.
Yeah.
All right, so who's getting the point? This last point.
I'm giving it to Steph. Yeah. Because
There you go,
oh my
Link.
gosh, that was so dumb.
There you go.
Boom.
So, folks, we're gonna bounce. We're gonna get out of here. Be sure to be back next time. Subscribe. Hit that chance to click those links down below in the description. Check out the amazing stuff that Manny's doing. All the backlog bro stuff that he's cooking up with.
Yep.
And then be over there next week over on this guy's channel when we're doing issue 161 because the freight train of the omnibus just keeps coming.
Yep. And hey, Manny, thank you, man, so much for joining us. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome.
Absolutely.
You
Do it
survived.
again. You survived. Yes.
Yes, barely.
Barely.
Yes, barely.
And as a reminder, we are jumping over to JP Budget's channel because every so often we do back-to-back shows on Tuesdays because we love Black Hammer. And we're going to be going over there right now to talk Jeff Lemire's Skull Digger and Skeleton Boy. This is a whole lot of fun, and it's a whole lot of fun chat over there. So if you haven't subscribed to JP, click his name in the chat and cruise on over because that's where we're heading right now.
Yep.
Thanks, gang, and we will see you back here in 1 week over on his channel.
Later, guys. Peace.
Asian.